can't help but wonder about my fate, my destiny.
What if there's no wrong numbers? Maybe it's always the right number.
Hello?
Mom?
Jeff?
Hi.
You know you're supposed to say hello when you pick up the phone. Get off that couch or you're gonna find someplace else to live.
Just kind of in the middle of something right now, Mom.
Jeff, what do you do in the basement? You're not cleaning it.
You really want to know? You didn't like it last time we had this
Okay,
conversation.
no, you're right, I don't.
Yeah, Kevin McCarthy, Washington, D.C.
Looking super sharp.
Dude, for you, my friend, for you.
Holy mackerel.
Are we good to go? Go ahead. Oh, cool. Well, first of all, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
I'm sure this bit's already been done at some point today, but my name is Kevin, so
Woo.
Oh.
Woo.
I'm like 8 feet tall.
Right at the beginning of your bit.
I know, right? And now I have to like recreate the bit. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Is that?
Yeah, now it's just gonna be awkward for
Now it's gonna
everyone.
be real awkward.
Yeah, I know what's coming.
You know what's coming now? So my name's Kevin. I don't know where to go with this bit now. I just feel like one of the great things about this movie is that your character's looking for signs, obviously, to find his path in life. And I wanted to ask you, as an actor, when you first started off in this business, what was that role that you took, that sign of a role that you took that you think landed you where you are today?
It was definitely meeting Judd Apatow. That changed my life. I was 18 years old, and he's been my mentor ever since. And to a lot of us, me and Seth and Jonah Hill and our whole group, he changed all of our lives, and he's been there every step of the way.
I got a phone call from Randy at Millennium Porsche.
We're not getting a Porsche.
You're just like in this mindset.
We don't have the money.
Yeah, that's the mindset I'm talking about.
Pat.
Surprise.
Everything happens for a reason, right?
That's exactly it.
Jeff, Pat?
Do they really use your real, younger photos when they show these in the film?
It's a great question, and I think most of the time they do not. They will try to find a young person who looks more like you actually look now.
Yeah.
In this case, however, this is really me. That
awesome.
is really my picture at, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 years old. 5? I don't know what that is.
What do they say? Do they say, we want your picture? How do they get it? Do they call your parents? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, they just call it. They say, hey, you got any childhood pictures? And then I called my mom and...
did you have photo approval? Like which ones you could?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I only sent in the ones that I was okay with,
right?
Which was not very many, but yeah, I mean that one's pretty harmless, right?
It's a good shot, dude.
Yeah, except for the Freddy Krueger shirt.
This is the Freddy Krueger shirt. I didn't notice that.
I was on the truck. The truck came here. Now you're here. I was meant to have a meeting with Destiny.
Mom called, she's really pissed.
Jeff's stuck. Maybe you could get him moving.
Once again, I have to pick up your slack.
What is wrong with you? Why do you want to live like this? Drifting through this life with no awareness.
What are you talking about?
No, it's interesting in the movie, the whole idea of the fact that we kind of take our family for granted. And we, until something dramatic happens, we don't really appreciate what we have.
Exactly.
Why, as human beings, do we do that? Like, why does it take something dramatic to make us appreciate our
Because I
family?
think we just get in a trance between being on track with what you're told you have to do. We're in a culture that tells you, all right, get through school, do this, and then happiness is somewhere down the line if you fulfill these things, and it doesn't work that way. You have to find it in your framing of everyday life, and it's easy to take your mom for granted or your kids for granted. It's hard because you're trying to just do everyday life. I think that, as kids, you think your parents came into existence when you did.
Right.
And you think of your kids as a certain age and as kids, and you have to really make an effort to get to know your parents as people and forgive them for making so many mistakes, and you have to get to know your kids and encourage them to be who they are, even when that's not what you want for them, that makes you feel safe.
Right.
Maybe they don't want to take the job, maybe they don't want to be with the people you think they should be in, but I think you have to get to the point where you respect them enough and trust them enough to just throw it all up and surrender to the universe.
Yeah. Why do you think as human beings we do lose that appreciation at points, and it takes a dramatic element to kind of put us back into that appreciation?
That's a great question. I think that in a lot of ways, a lot of times we feel stuck with our families, and that's a really sad point of view because any relationship that is strong, even if it's contentious, is meaningful because we're social beings, and there's almost nothing more painful than abject loneliness. And even if you have a tough relationship with someone in your family, a sibling, a parent, a spouse, it's worth the effort to get over the hurdles and to continue the struggle a lot of times. Now, if the person is a psychopath or whatever, I mean, there is a line.
Right.
But I think for the most part, it's hard to maintain relationships, but it's worth it. It's worth the fight. And this is a movie about people that have kind of sadly given up the fight, but then find a catalyst to get back into that fight. And it has really poignant results, and it's a powerful story.
Pat, who's that guy your wife's with? Why don't you just go in there and talk to her?
Oh my God, you have no idea how adult relationships work, do you? I need to find out exactly what's going on so I'll have the upper hand later.
Now, I was reading that you actually don't take scripts or movies unless you're a little bit scared to take the part.
And I also prefer movies where I'm sitting.
Yeah, where you're sitting. Yeah, I was reading your Twitter the other day. You're talking about how you like to be sitting. Is there a particular role that you took over your career that scared you the most? What was the scariest moment for you, like a role to take?
I was pretty scared of Sarah Marshall because it was the first movie I'd ever written that was made, and I did full frontal nudity. It was a scary day. I was scared to take on the Muppets because I wanted to pay honor to a legacy that meant a lot to so many people.
Right.
And I was scared of this because the goal was to be incredibly natural, which, you know, as an actor, you are tempted to do something. You know, like you want to show that you're doing good acting.
Right.
But with this, the real goal was just to be super calm.
Something really big is happening here.
My wife is having an affair.
We don't know that yet. Let's follow this and see where it leads.
I'm gonna break down the door.
That's a terrible idea. I've seen you try to do things physically.
I hate my kids right now. I don't know when that happened. They were so cute.
Is it harder to emotionally connect to an audience through drama or comedy?
Well, the emotional connection, I guess, you might say it's easier in drama because it's inherently, generally more emotional content to a scene. But I think my buddy Rob Corddry, an old buddy from The Daily Show, he's an amazing actor. He came from Shakespeare and all this stuff, and then
He really?
yeah. He used to do. I know,
that.
but he's a really, really great actor, and then we did improv comedy together at UCB in New York. We go way back, and he's an old pal. And he has the greatest description, which is that doing comedy is like swinging a bat in the warm-up box with weights on it. You know, like it's harder. It's hard to do comedy. It takes a lot more concentration and effort. And that doing drama in some ways is about like doing less. Good drama is about sort of, and that takes a lot of focus and concentration. But you kind of have to. For me, it's about pulling back. And it's something that I learned a lot from Jason Segel and Mark and Jay Duplass doing this, is that almost the less you do, the more powerful it can be sometimes. And I'm still kind of figuring that stuff out, but I love it. I love the challenge and the struggle. But I always think comedy is kind of the hardest thing, and that's why to me it's sort of the most fun.
Cute.
I've been having this really weird dream about Dad lately. He says, Pat, what's the greatest day in the history of the world? And I'm like, Dad, I don't know. And he just looks at me and he smiles.
Today.
And
He says today.
how'd you know?
Isn't the most important thing finding someone who sees you exactly as you are?
I just want to feel that we both want to like be in love. I want it so bad.
It's a very emotionally engaging film, but there's a lot of sequences that I'm sure were emotionally draining for you, and especially the scene that happens in the hotel room. As an actress, though, when that camera shuts off, are you able to kind of go back to being like your happy self immediately, or do you need some downtime to kind of like?
No, I have a harder time like leading up to that day of work than afterward. Like I'm pretty good at like, all right, let's get a beer. Like I'm okay with that. But it's like leading up to it is when I have to be like a little bit more careful, because sometimes if I'm like sort of trying to like get myself ready for an emotional moment, I can't have too much fun or be too happy, because I get like, I bloom where I'm planted, and if I'm in a good mood, then I'm like, I can't cry today. I'm too happy.
Can't
so
cry.
thank God for the iPod.
Yeah.
It's really like I feel like it's changed my acting. Like having like music, I can just like tune out. I don't have to like work as hard.
Is there a song that you listen to that immediately depresses you? Like, what is it? Like
Well, there's always
like Adele or something
there's
like that?
Well, there's this one song by a band called Local Natives. This song called Airplanes, actually,
all right.
that I listened to a lot when I was shooting this movie. And
I'll check it out.
yeah,
I'll
it's
check it out.
really good. And I don't know, that one song like really got me. But it's always different, and like a song doesn't always work forever. Like I could always like listen to Coldplay and cry, you know.
Yeah.
But then after a while, it stops working. So then you have to have like a new cry song or a new happy song or whatever.
I did not know that like, you could cry, listen to a
These
song.
are my secrets.
I like
I'm telling Washington,
This is
D.C. all of my acting
all the
secrets.
secrets right here.
I really buy my career at the Mac store.
It's like an Apple. They're gonna put this in an Apple commercial. Like they're like have a whole thing going. It's you talking about this.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Right?
Dude, you need to say that to her.
Stay in the car. I am fine. Yes, thank you for asking. Good.